up, guys? It's Saverina. Welcome to Sav Meets World, where we're having real conversations with real people about real things. Today, we are diving into something a little controversial, breaking down the current state of comedy with actor and comedy creator Dylan Mass. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get into it.
Let's get right into it.
How would you describe your style of comedy?
Well, I like to think of it as on the cutting edge, breaking barriers. No, it's everybody with comedy. I think you kind of have to find your style. Some people can be self-deprecating. Some people like to be over the top. I like to kind of bridge the gap, be on both sides. Maybe a little bit of almost stepping over the line, mixed with a bit of clean humor, which is the most difficult. So I would say my style of comedy would be teetering on the edge of being not acceptable and acceptable. Only because I feel like you do need to break those barriers with comedy. And I think there's just so much of a wall up in this day and age of what you can and cannot do, that's the reason I'm kind of tiptoeing on it. It's not necessarily that I'm good at it, but it's just that is kind of, when you meet force, push through it. So that's what my style of comedy would be, I think. On the edge of unacceptable.
I feel like all styles of comedy are under fire right now because everyone has this need to feel wronged by something, someone. No one laughs anymore. We need more laughter in the world.
We do. They say I say, this is my first, that you're hearing it here first. Yeah, if music is the universal language, comedy is the universal medicine. That's feel free to use that if you guys want. But I think that's true because music doesn't matter what language you speak. You listen to it and you can get the feel for it. And comedy, laughter, I think no matter who you are, what language it's said in, when you're laughing in that moment, you forget everything. So to put these barriers on something that can bring joy to people is really aggravating. And that's why I say my style is kind of like pushing back the barrier, trying to anyways, which means I'll either be extremely successful or fail miserably, and the world will hate me. So, but I agree with you. It's a tricky time for comedy with so many people getting offended at everything that's said.
And that's why I love Ricky Gervais. He just goes right for it. No one's safe. And he touches on everything from rape to cancer.
Yeah, I feel like he is great. He's an amazing comedian, but I feel like the British accent gives him a little bit of a leeway. Don't ask me why, but
a certain sense of humor. They're very dry.
They are, yeah. They are. Even when you go to England, it's like they tell it how it is. If they don't like you, like they'll tell you. If they don't think you're funny, they'll tell you.
I wish more people were like that.
They should be. They should be. North America is a very safe place, though, especially Canada.
Sugarcoating, I just can't handle it.
No, it's tricky, and with comedy, you're really looking to bat 500. A little baseball reference for you guys. Batting 500 is, you're trying to hit 50% of your audience, especially if you're creating something. If you go to a stand-up show, it's the live people are paid to see somebody make them laugh. So, they're there and they're more receptive to jokes. Whereas if you're creating content, like you're creating a movie or you're creating a series, you're writing and anybody could see it. So somebody that hates comedy in general could watch it and think this is terrible. So you're really hoping with comedy to bat 500, which is difficult to do.
Recently on Netflix, I found they have a great variety of stand-ups. But what I also found is that there's a big difference between male comedians and female comedians. I mean, first of all, women in comedy, they have to mention that they're female comedians right at the top. I don't think there's one stand-up where they don't mention it. Where males, they're just like, I'm a comedian. And then they always feel the need to try extra hard, whether it's about sex and just to go that extra mile because they feel like they have to prove themselves. And what's it like for you? You're in the world, so you know more than I do.
Well, thanks for bringing up the most controversial hot topic of the last year.
That's what this is for.
Awesome. I agree with you to an extent where I do feel, I was recently at a comedy show and some of the female performers before myself, they went up, and I love comedy in general, so I don't care if you're what color you are, what race you are, male or female. Yeah. But I did find every female comedian that went up, a large part, if not the whole set, was about female-related issues or experiences, which as a male, which is going to come off sounding terrible, but as a male, it kind of pulled me out of the actual set and the comedy because I caught myself trying to figure out how it's funny or trying to figure out what the hell they're talking about because I'm not a woman and I don't know some of the joke references they're making. But I feel like females have such a huge world to explore in comedy because they have the best of both worlds and they're much more intelligent. Females, and I'm saying that in all honesty, I'm not kissing ass. I think just they're able to decipher things much differently than males are, and if they can incorporate the best of both worlds in their set, I think the best comedians in the world could easily be female, which totally some of them are. Let's not throw this out. We're very equal, men and women together, or women and women. It's whatever you prefer, or men and men. It's hot. You're killing me.
I don't think it matters what gender you are. Just you're either funny or you're not, and that's what it comes down to. But I think people want to make something that's not about gender, and that's what's wrong with the world today.
People are, and we'll end it, and with that we'll end it on this. People are looking to find a fault in something, and there's fault in everything. Like there's fault. There's fault in this chair. It's a beautiful old chair, but I don't know, it could be reupholstered, but it doesn't need to be. But there will be people that say that chair needs to be reupholstered, whether it's a unisex chair or not. But you're right, people look to pick problems with things, and I don't know if it's for personal glory or if they really are like so emotional about everything happening in the world. But with comedy, it's great because it's self-regulating. It's kind of like if you ever done mushrooms. If you do them once and you don't like them, you're never doing them again. If you get up there and do stand-up and you don't like it or you're awful, like you'll very quickly be told, like, never do it again, and you won't do it again. You can't fake funny. You kind of have to have it a little bit, and that sounds very, like, egotistical and chauvinistic because I think I'm funny, but...
That's another thing, like the response to a man saying that, and then a female says it, it's like, get it, girl power, and if a male says it, it's like, oh, he's a pig.
You're right. In some respects, yes. This is a small grouping of people because there is a lot of men and women that are very equal on both sides, and they don't go over the top in any respect. But for the ones that do seem to take everything to heart, it's kind of a faulted system. Like I'm for women's rights and everybody having rights, and you see certain things that are promoting that and pushing it forward, and then you see reactions and way people act kind of pulling it back. And then you get caught in this weird vortex where you don't know what the hell's going on, what's acceptable and what's not. But luckily in comedy, you can't worry about that. In my opinion, for my style of comedy, I feel like you just got to throw caution to the wind and say whatever comes out with respect, of course. Like you're not going to get up there and be like, "Oh, women suck," and stuff like that. They don't. You don't want to say something like that because then you're just an idiot, and people know right away there's nothing behind it.
It's very clear.
And nobody can relate to that and those aren't the people that I want relating to my comedy. Yeah, women suck. Like screw that. But with comedy, there's everything has to be acceptable or nothing has to be acceptable or off limits because you can't say, oh, I'll make a joke about women, but I won't make a joke about animals or, I don't know. I would never make a joke about an animal. Animals are cute, so.
I agree.
Yeah, we agree on that.
Yeah, we got that. And then I think the same goes for politics, too. There's a lot of double standards, and I think that's been brought up by the Roseanne controversy.
Yes. Roseanne.
She has her views, and it's like, well, on one side, it made her famous, and then on the other side, it also ruined her career. Yeah,
I think politics in general are stupid. They need to be there for our world to flourish.
Yeah.
But the people that are running it and the people that believe that everything is as it seems, like it's just trickery. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. And with the Roseanne thing, yes, she got to a certain point of her career being vocal, which I think everybody should. If you don't like something, you should be able to express that in certain respect. Like don't go out there and start shouting from the rooftops and being rude because when you offend other people, then it's not okay. But with Roseanne, she got to a level in her career based on being vocal, and then her tweet, it was a tweet, right? Yeah. The tweet was like, like there's no coming back from it. That's just a stupid thing to say.
Yeah.
Whether or not that shows her true colors or not, personally, who cares? Like in my mind, Roseanne hasn't been relevant since I was like 3 years old. So like, great, she had a reboot.
Yeah.
But if she is that person, if that's the actual person that tweeted that, then absolutely right. She has no business having her own show, and she ruined a career for people that were looking forward to working on the show. I don't think sleeping pills have racism as a side effect.
No, and the company also had that to say.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what she was on, but it doesn't cause racism. That's for sure. But that's when you mix politics and comedy, it gets tricky, because who cares about politics? You're only ripping on the politics and the politicians, and you're only ripping on the ones that are dumb to begin with.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of bias too. I mean, I miss when things were more neutral. With Saturday Night Live, they're very decided on what side they're on.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of that. Oh, that is true. Comedy really has to be open to everything, but I guess when you have a monopoly, kind of like Saturday Night Live does, you're free to kind of follow and do what you like.
Yeah.
And in respect, I mean, Trump is an idiot. I mean, I think
we could agree on that.
Yeah, like I mean, even if I think what he has as plans set for the United States, those are actual issues that do need to be tackled, and they're relevant topics. The way he approaches them is
he doesn't have the middleman, and if he does, then I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. So with Saturday Night Live, I mean, yes, for them to take that side of the story and show their views like that, it can work, because I'd say most people would agree with them, or at the very like, if you're watching Saturday Night Live and you're a Trump supporter and you're getting angry,
don't watch it.
Then like turn it off or change it, or rant. Also, a lot of people get really upset at people ranting or voicing their opinion.
That's what life's about, right?
Yeah.
They want freedom of speech, but only if it's what you want to hear.
Yeah, it's a topsy-turvy kind of thing. It doesn't make any sense, and it gives me a headache to try and, when you're speaking with somebody of that, and you're like, but I thought, okay, never mind. Like, and that's why comedy is, I don't know, I think it's the outlet. I think comedy is what's going to save this world if we let it. Because everybody laughs, everybody has fun laughing, and it's something that you can do, together. I mean, you don't get together with a group of friends and say, hey, what we should do? We should laugh, and then I'll laugh, because you should be in a mental hospital if that's your kind of fun that you have with your friends. But yeah, I think that is, in this day and age, it's going to be a huge outlet that you're going to see a lot more people doing, whether they're good at it or not. But I think a lot of people should be turning to it, just because everything else is screwed in this world right now. I mean, Doug Ford is the premier of Ontario, and I think he got it because he said he wanted to lower the beer prices to $1 a beer, and I wouldn't be surprised if half the people from my hometown like voted for him just because of that. I mean, I would have voted for him, but I think the guy's a dummy, so I didn't. But the $1 a beer was that was mighty enticing. Mighty enticing.
We'll end it on that.
Yes, $1 a beer.
Yeah.
Not for Doug Ford, but I'm for cheap beer.
Yeah, there we go.
All right.
End of story. But Out to Lunch on YouTube. What's the social handles?
For myself, it's at Dylan_Mask. That's my Instagram. Or check out to Lunch, the most dramatic series of all time, at OTL_the series on Instagram.